wow, wow. Hello, 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 and good evening, good evening, good evening. It is amazing to be back again on this very hot evening. My name is Gizo Giaco, and I am the Director for Programs for SaffronSACAP. Thank you all for joining us this evening, for taking time out of your schedules. I will ask that you all keep a drink or some kind of fluid besides you because it's quite warm this evening. Today, I am joined by my boss. I'm going to ask Yemi to please unveil herself and introduce herself. Go ahead.
Amazing. Nicely. Oh, good evening, everyone. My earpiece was in there. I was hearing my voice in my head. Not nice. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this wholesome, lovely, warm evening with us. It is very hot out here. And I also know that it's hot so many places in the world at the moment. So, from wherever you're joining us, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, somewhere. And thank you for taking time to join us. We do not take your presence and your participation for granted at all. We appreciate you and we look forward to you joining us every week. It's going to be a very awesome evening for us. We are still celebrating our 1 year of the voiceover. It has been the beginning was quite a bit of a roller coaster because we were dipping in waters we weren't very sure about. But you know where you have this saying that
The show must
the show must go on, and we have learned a lot as the weeks have rolled by. And I remember the first time gigs started, and I said, "Okay, you're going to talk because I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to talk." But look at it this today. It's just brilliant to be able to know pinpoint the things that we've learned along the way. So in that same vein, we are reviewing our programs that have brought out some specific outcomes for not just us, but for our our friends, our families, participants, and the wider community and children within our community and families. So, yes, please stick with us. As usual, I am your host on our Facebook page. I suppose our Facebook pages and groups, and that's the Saffron SACAP page. So, if you can share, please, 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 if you have a Facebook page, share from there, get a whole lot more people on because these are issues that are pertinent to our communities, and it does help for us to be able to reach out to people who are in need of support, who are in need of signposting to the right directions, the right services that they can reach out to for help and support. Um, it's been a very busy day for all of us, I can tell you. We have been busy also across the world in Nigeria. There's so much going on around abuse, domestic abuse, child abuse. It's unbelievable. So when you're on the other side of the waters, do not think that it doesn't concern you. It concerns all of us collectively. We are currently a global village. And because of that, we are connected one way or another. So let's reach out to our brothers, sisters, uncles, aunties, fathers, and let's make the world a better place. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thanks, Giz. Over to you.
Thank you, Yemi. Yes, and as Yemi rightly said, we are swimming in um, both rivers, so here and abroad. And unfortunately, um, things are happening out there in both in the communities. And we've always said that when we first started, that the mission was to bridge the gap within the communities, and also that for us is a priority. But also, it's about hearing the challenges you are facing within the community, hearing what you need, the assistance, the help, the guidance. And this is why we come on every Wednesday. Come rain, come shine, heat wave, whatever, we will be here to talk to you, to reach out to you. And we always say, please spread the word, because even if it doesn't affect you directly, it might affect your neighbor. And if we continue in the realm of being our brother and our sister's keeper, then we need to hashtag together we can. We really do need to be spreading the word and trying to make the community and the world, in whole, a much better place to be. Without much ado, I would like to just say welcome to our mentor who happens to be online. Auntie Amma, good evening. Thank you as always for showing up and sitting there and taking in everything.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, Auntie Amma.
Thank you for the acknowledgement.
That's fine. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to Vivian. Vivian, you have been away. It's nice to see you back on today. Hello.
I know. Hello. I've not been too well, but I'm much better. Much better.
All right.
Thank God. So
glad to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Glad to hear your voice. Omotola Ayodele, good evening. I saw you come on and off, so thank you for coming back on. Olukemi Ayodele, I don't know if you're related or if that's a coincidence, but yeah, hi, good evening. And I also want to say a big shout out to Mrs. Olajumoke Otituloju from Iyaniwura Foundation. Good evening, Madam. Welcome all the way from Lagos. It's a pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on to our talk show. So once again, as I said, my name is Giz and I'm your program director, and we will want to say a shout out. Yemi has already said hi, but I want to say a personal shout out to our Facebook family, because you guys always come on and you guys, you give us, you keep us on our toes. So Yemi is going to be there to answer all your questions, your statements. So please feel free to join in the conversation. We are doing our 1 year anniversary. So believe it or not, guys, we've been on for a year now. Yeah, it surprises even me. I mean, we sit down all the time, and whenever we're doing research for the show, and it's like, wow, a year already. We can't even believe it. But you know what? To God be the glory. We're out there doing what we love to do. There is nothing that we're doing that is an issue for us, that is a problem, or that we dislike doing. So yes, in review of our 1 year celebration, which will be coming up on the 23rd of June, what we have been doing for the whole of June is reviewing some of the salient segments we've had, in the past. And today we'll be looking at the segment we had over the years, which was sometime last year. I think it was, I won't be able to give you the date. We've done so many. I'm not that good. I'm good, but I'm not that good. But it was one of our segments on domestic abuse. Now, this was very emotive, very real. And it was amazing because we dealt with domestic abuse, both in the UK, and we did also have people from different parts of the world who tuned in. Domestic abuse is not specific to an area. It's all over the world. So yeah, we handled it, we dealt with it. And we're going to talk about it again today, because we like to know that, in as much as we have these issues, we talk about these issues, it's not about just talking about them. What we want to do is to be able to, even if it's just one specific case that we are able to take and intervene, and those interventions bring about positive outcomes, then what that means is that we have not just said what we're going to do, but we have actually done it as an organization. And we'd like you to understand that we do not work in isolation, by no way, means, or shape or form. There are other organizations that we would need to work with in order to get the outcomes that we seek for individuals, for families, for young people. And that is what has happened. So what we're going to do, like I said, is review the domestic abuse segment. We will do a playback of that segment, just for those of you who possibly did not join in last year, so that you have a feel of where we started with the domestic abuse segment. And then we will be talking about one of the live cases that came out as a result of that segment. And we will give you a follow-up and, you know, the outcome that came out and the result and where it is up till today. It's our, what we're very proud. We are very, very proud. And I'll tell you why. Not because it's not about us, and we've always said this, but you know what this story tells us is if you come together, if we come together, we can make things happen. And this is just a testimony to that. So please sit back and join with us. And at the end of it, we will be here. We would like to hear, you know, your thoughts, your opinions on this segment and the situation. Thank you. Over to you, Yemi.
Okay. I'm going to start by showing us just the very beginning of this domestic violence discussion. We started discussing, bear with me 2 seconds, the social determinants. So what are the causes? What are the environmental causes that, you know, that promote domestic abuse within our families, communities, and within young people as well? Because we have
Is that fish?
can you hear me? Because we have partner violence within
Go ahead.
young people as well. So we're going to start. Debs, do you want to talk about some issues around domestic violence for us? I know you had something to give us.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so like you said earlier, it's so hard to understand why one person would want to make another person's life difficult. It's kind of easy, but it's also very complicated. We've all heard the term that hurt people hurt people. So sometimes it is, you know, people go through domestic violence or domestic abuse as a result of the person who is the abuser have also probably been hurt in the past. Usually there might be some childhood type situation where maybe they also grew up in an abusive situation, and you can only give what you have, right? Sometimes these situations are not even, it's almost out of control. But moving on from that, we have mentioned some different types of abuse. And one of the ones that you mentioned is psychological or emotional abuse. And I think out of all the different types of abuse, this one has got to be the hardest one because there are no signs, no physical marks that you're being abused. At the same time, the person that is being abused go through a lot of psychological problems, you know, anything ranging from depression to anxiety to even eating and sleeping problems. So there's psychological abuse. Again, the hardest one to identify, unless the victim speaks up about it. And then, of course, we have the physical abuse, you know, the shoving, the pushing, the hitting, the where there is physical contact from the abuser to the victim. So those, you know, a bruise here, a bump there, a cut there, there are certain signs of physical abuse. Sexual abuse, if I can move on pretty quickly, sexual abuse is, again, something nobody really wants to talk about. And especially in our culture, you know, I still hear people who say that, how can your husband abuse you? He's your husband. How can he, what do you mean he forced you to have sex? Yeah, that's the word. He forced me to have sex. Yeah. I didn't want to have sex. Or he does derogatory things during an intimate time. Anything that you have not consented to, anything you do not agree to or agree with in terms of act or I don't know, whatever else. Even within an intimate relationship, if you do not agree with it, you're not comfortable with it, and you have voiced that you are not comfortable with what is going on, you are being abused sexually. But like I said, a lot of people, even within the African culture, still struggle with, he is your husband. That cannot be abused. So we do need to look into that. Financial abuse, again, a lot of people term this as some sort of modern, oh, if you've got your money and he's got his money and all this kind of stuff, how could he possibly be? When the main breadwinner or the person that is making money in the family is purposely, systematically withholding money from you, now, not because he or she does not have, but because it is a way to control you. We have to remember that abuse is really about control.
Yeah.
It's about controlling the person. It's about controlling the situation. It's about, and again, I'm going to quickly go back that the reason that person probably feels the need to control is because they were controlled. They were probably stopped from doing a lot of things. So the way to control their environment, the way to control their life is by controlling somebody else. So you control through sex, you control through money, you control through movement, you control through who can be your friend, who cannot be your friend. Some people even go as far as stopping their spouses from being in touch with family members, you know. So there's,
yeah, do you know what? That
is, you know, they say good morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Over to you, Han.
Okay, so yeah, we've heard that, and some things have just come out at me as we were going through that video. And guys, I'm going to throw the floor open because everybody, I'm hoping you were able to hear the playback of that segment that we did. Hurt people. That was deep, you know. When you're hurt, you know, you want to transfer that hurt to somebody, and in the process, you end up abusing the person. So I you know, I don't know if anybody else has a different take on abuse than what was actually played through on that video. Please feel free to unmute yourselves and share it with us. She did state psychological, emotional abuse, those ones where there are no signs, you know. I'm sure we've all had a friend who, or somebody we may know in our lives, and you walk into the home and you can see the abuse, you know, because you know your friend and you can see that something is wrong, but there are no visible signs for you to say, all right, this is what is happening. Yeah. So sometimes abuse is not about the wounds or the physical appearance of somebody. There's a silence. There's a silent kind of abuse that goes, that is out there. I'd like to hear some of your thoughts on domestic abuse, and you know, please, like I always say when I start, do not share any personal information. We would rather you don't mention anybody's names because we are live on air and this is going viral. But please let us hear the situations, hear the real stories, minus the actual personal details, because that's the only way we can be able to help on support in any way possible. So, Olajumuke, yeah, okay. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, please.
Okay, in African setting,
yes,
I will also say financial abuse. It causes depression. You know, in African setting, we believe pay the school fees, and when the man is not earning enough or sufficient salary, he tends to be aggressive in the house, and that's another form of abuse. the man tends to unleash all the problems, unleash all the emotional torture is going through in terms of not fulfilling his family duties or the role of the father in the house. And sometimes it leads to abuse. Sometimes it leads to drug abuse. Sometimes you take drugs, and when they take drugs, they do that by the time I get home, the woman won't be able to ask me for anything. And by taking drugs is also another torture the man is going through. Sometimes they take into alcohol. It's another, by the time they take alcohol, by the time they get home, they are so tired that nobody wants to talk to them, or, you know. So financial abuse is also a form of abuse, domestic violence in the house. Also, another one is emotional abuse from either the husband or from the wife. The reason being that the abusive nature of women or men, also it's another form of abuse. You might not abuse that person with by talking, but neglecting the woman in the house, it's another form of domestic abuse. That's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So what I picked up from what you said was that financial abuse. So basically the man's inability or the men's inability to be able to provide for their families leads them to become abusive towards their spouses.
When the person, when the financial obligation, if the person is not living up to the financial obligation, as in the role of the father to provide everything in the house. And that's why women, we are clamoring for 50-50. We also want to take a role. We want to participate so that to reduce the financial obligation of the men.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Beautiful. And I like how you said, you know, you are specific, because you said over here in Nigeria, you know, and it's good because obviously, you know, we have to, we can't, obviously we air here in the UK, but we also cater to a predominantly large Nigerian community within the other communities that we're looking after. So it's always good for us to understand and to hear, you know, what obtains in Nigeria, because I think, you know, from a cultural point of view, you know, I think if we're looking back maybe 40-50 years ago, when it was the man's role or responsibility, women had very little financial input into the homes. And I think obviously as we've evolved and we've modernized and times are changing, like what you said, you're pushing for the 50-50, but I think it's more a case of maybe empowering those women, you know, yes, push for the 50-50, but also empowering those women to be able to stand in the marriage, but stand, you know, strong as well, because then you have the balance. So yeah, thank you for that. And you did mention drug abuse and alcohol abuse. And I think, I don't know if we have any psychologists online today. Incidentally, you know, I had I'm on a different forum, and this topic came up. It was about parenting, but you know, these are the parents we're talking about, because the person you've just mentioned, who is the abuser, is the head of the home. So that's the father. Some of this abuse could bypass the partner or the wife and go directly to the children. So as a result of your frustration, what we call transferred aggression. So you're transferring that aggression to your spouse, your wife, your whatever the relationship is, and also onto your children. as a result of your inability to be able to cater for them. You know, that's not an excuse for you, for anybody to abuse anybody. And then you also mentioned, you said that that there's another form of abuse, and that's by not talking to the person. Now, that must be the most frustrating kind of abuse, because you have to live in the same home. And I know, and I think, Yemi, you can back me up on this, during COVID, you know, where everybody was now forced, you know, we all found that we were now forced to stay in their homes. And I think a lot of people found that they were now having to stay with a husband or a wife who a year ago would have been at work until 11 o'clock at night. But because, you know, businesses were closed, you find that you're staying in the homes, and a lot of the people were in homes and they were not speaking to each other, you know. So yes, abuse can be a form of neglect, where you're making it a point of duty to not speak to the person that you live under the same roof as. And there is nothing as mentally draining as having that done. So, I mean, thank you so much for that take. If there's anybody else who has anything to throw in there, the kind of abuse that is out there, whether it's physical, emotional, whatever kind of abuse, I would love to hear your takes as well, please. Just feel free to unmute yourself. It's an open session. Feel free to unmute yourself and throw something in, because we're here to learn from each other.
Hi.
Hi, yeah.
Hi. I think a lot of education is needed. I mean, I'm not quite sure how, but I remembered when I was growing up, for instance, you know, sort of my father's age era, these were conversations they had, like, you know, if your wife, if you were sitting, they were talking and said, oh, my wife did this. And it just came up as this was normal. Oh, you beat her, you put her in place. You know, that was the comment. It was as if this was just, it was a norm. It was, you know, this was a normal thing to do. And a lot of children, women, but especially men who were brought up in these homes, I've seen that happening, and I've just carried on and think that's the thing to do. You know, that's what my dad did or my mom, you know, did. So we'll just carry it on. And that's carried on, sadly, for many generations. So it's a culture change. I don't know how. I mean, I'm not quite sure how the education will be done, but I think a lot of education is needed. A lot of love shown in the home, because like Guy said, when the arguments do start, it then transfers to the children, because there's almost side taking, you know, and all sorts are going on. So I don't know how that changes, but I find that a lot of the people in our generation, for instance, who came from seeing fathers and mothers do that, just carried on, you know, they carried on seeing the father, and then the women stayed thinking, you know, well, my mom stayed and she endured it or whatever, so we'll patch it along and we'll keep trying, it will change. But it doesn't change. If anything, it probably gets worse, which is what was happening in lockdown. So people who probably don't communicate at all normally, who don't see each other for more than an hour or two in the day, are now seeing each other with no conversation, and it becomes, their presence then becomes annoying. And there's nothing to be said, because they don't even know how to communicate. It's like that's lost anyway. Mm-hmm. And so everything becomes an irritant.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, education, but I don't know how that will come about, definitely, for the next generations, you know, the younger ones. Yeah.
Beautiful. That is absolutely spot on. You know,
I want to say, if you've been following up on what is going on in Nigeria on the social media,
yeah,
the veteran actor Pete Edochie, I think that is his name.
Yeah,
he made a statement on, if a woman does this, you need to teach her a lesson. And for me, it was the comments. They had over 2,000 comments, and these are young people. Everyone was like admonishing him. Why would you say you should beat your wife? So when you're talking about this new generation, I'm telling you, they are really woke when it comes to things like this. many of them were really, really telling him off. You don't say that. Why would you beat your wife? You know, he was, of course, he's the old school. I mean, that actor, Peter Doce, he was saying if your wife does something or when he was growing up, if his mother did something, the father used to beat him. So you have to teach a woman. I think there was something like that I read somewhere. And honestly, the comments, I was really, really shocked that this young generation you think are not educated. In fact, they're far, far ahead of us in things like this. Nobody tolerated it from him. And they really told him off. If your father did that to your mother, we can't take that. And many of the young ladies stood up against it.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you, Nene. Thank you for that. Yemisi Jenkins, MBE. Yemisi, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to assume we have some apologies for joining late.
That's okay. It's nice to have you on.
Thank you. Well done. Well done to everyone. Right. Domestic abuse. Very interesting. I usually come to it from a totally different angle. And that is from the general, which is abuse, irrespective of the gender. And I usually advocate for the male, because as far as I'm concerned, our men are abused daily and nobody speaks about it. And then when you look at stats, unfortunately, because these abuse are not reported, I guess we have to go by stats again. We tend to say that men are not, the figure when you compare it to female is not as high. Now, my argument is always the fact that because they don't report it, and this is irrespective of your race, it has nothing to do with you being a Nigerian or an African or not. No, men are abused across the world, but because of the way men are, because of the expectation from our men, number one, we say they shouldn't cry. Why we do that, I don't know. We say they should man up. But thank God, at least we're changing the narrative now. So you hear things that like man down, woman up kind of thing, just to change that silly narrative of men not being able to express their emotions. So that is one area that I think we need to do a lot, because a lot of us women abuse our men. And it may not be physical. You probably find the odd physical abuse because usually maybe the frame of the man compared to the man, the woman would always most times be bigger than the woman. So it's not, but I have seen even petite women, slap their men, and I'm like, are you having a laugh? I wasn't there, but I was told. And when she was telling me, she was expecting some sort of support from me. And I'm like, if that was my brother, I'm sorry, I don't encourage violence, but you slap me, I slap you back. If you can't take it, don't give it. So we number one, I think we need to encourage our men to speak out, our boys to speak out, our boys. I've got 2 boys, so maybe that's why I'm very passionate about boys. We need to encourage our boys to speak out, to say it is okay to speak out, it is okay to cry. It is not okay for you to be abused by a woman. Some women, they know that some men will never hit them. And because of that, they will go ahead and abuse that man physically. Now, emotionally, abuse. That, in fact, I think for some people, that is even worse because it's cursing them, using their weaknesses to talk down on them. And I think that somebody said something earlier saying that, in Nigeria, trust me, it is not only in Nigeria. We have women here who, all over the world, as a matter of fact. So don't think it's only about Nigeria when it comes to emotional abuse. It is all over the world. It is not race specific. It is not ethnic specific. It is across the board. So I want us to move away from thinking it is only in Nigeria. I think what happens to us is we talk about the things that we know. You only talk about the environment that you're used to. I have colleagues and friends from different races. So I know, and I'm sure a lot of people also, are aware of that. Now, in terms of how do we then address this, I think it's a lot of awareness, and I love what I think it's Nene from the scale, what you said in terms of that guy, that's a Doce guy talking about, and I think it was, that was arrant nonsense, and I'm glad that a lot of young people actually stood up to him to say that is okay. We're live, so what he said was not acceptable. We need to start changing that narrative. You cannot say because you are the breadwinner, then you have to correct your wife as if you're correcting a child. I mean, even the Bible, that is what I know because I'm a Christian, so that is what I can use. Your wife is your helpmate, not your maid. Your helpmate. Yes, in a ship, you would always have a captain, so the man would always be the head because must have a leader.
Leader, yes.
So we need one person who would then be the coordinator, and your wife will then be your assistant in that relationship, your co-owners of that relationship for it to work. So I think that's where we need to start changing that narrative. But also, this is going to be the last thing I'm going to say because I'm conscious that I've been speaking for quite a while. We also need to change this narrative. I saw something on Facebook and this guy posted it and said, oh, my wife is now earning, I think they live in Abuja.
Yes.
And the wife earns 3 times the money. Yeah. And the guy is like, and some people are saying she has to leave her job and then go to, to where he is earning like not even 1/3 of what the woman is earning. But I was so happy that some guys came on there and said, that ego kill you. This is new Nigeria, whatever. That ego kill you. Why won't I move to where my wife is? Who cares who is earning? As long as the woman does not take it out, because that is one thing that we also need to talk to ourselves about. A lot of women, but I mean, there was a lady who did a project about this thing a while ago. And I said, I know a lot of women that are breadwinners, but you will never know. You will never know because it is not up for this conversation. It doesn't come up. The man is still the head. So the fact that she now earns times 10 of what the man is earning does not even come into conversation because it doesn't come up. It has never been an issue. And these are people that have been in relationships for over 20 or more years. So I think awareness and getting people to actually come out and speak is very important, and actually calling people out.
Yeah.
But you know what? It is not acceptable. I mean, here we talk about financial financial abuse, where even till the salt, you count the meat in the pot, the grain of salt that is used. And a lot of people stay in relationships because they don't have that financial independence, and either the male or the female. I know some men that want to leave, but because of the financial constraints and the impact it's going to have on them, they're staying in the relationship. So it's a whole raft of awareness and education that we need to take on. Now, how are we going to do that? I don't know, but I think platforms like this, we just have to continue to utilize platforms like this. Thank you.
Awesome. And I know because you're busy and you're probably going to run away, I'm just going to quickly ask you, because I know you're very busy, MEC, with your background in immigration, can you tell us at the direct link, if there is a link between domestic abuse and immigration? And the reason I'm saying this to you is because obviously of what we see when we go out into the community. So, I like to speak to the experts, and so go ahead, Flores.
Yes, there is a huge correlation, and because we know that, because Home Office also recognizes that, we have a dedicated team called the vulnerability team. Now, what the vulnerability team does is, let me give you a good example. People come to the UK on what we call spouse visa. So what that means is, if, for example, I migrate to the UK with my husband, my partner, however you want to describe them, my visa is dependent on my partner or my husband or whatever you want to call the person. So whenever that individual is renewing his or her application, they have to submit application for me as well. Now, what we find is that because a lot of people know that. So what then happens is when they come to the UK, they begin to abuse their partners. They begin either physical, either emotional, either financial. Financial in terms of they may be working, maybe they may be he's the breadwinner. He or she is the breadwinner because it's not gender specific now. He or she may be the breadwinner, and the partner would also be working, but they would make sure that every single dime that individual is earning goes into their pocket. They decide what the person eats, they decide where they go, they restrict their movements, they turn them into slaves, all because they know, or in their head, they think that visa, and they actually go a step further, threatening them and saying that, I'm going to destroy your life, I'm not going to renew your visa. Now, what the Home Office is saying is, you don't have to stay in that relationship. Okay. Please, if you have come to the UK under your spouse visa and you're going through something like this, please, or if you know anyone, speak to Saffron. Saffron is one of the advocates for Home Office. They have, we have a very good relationship with Saffron. If you speak to them, they will speak to us as Home Office, and we will take that forward. Now, a caveat there. Now, I am not saying that would guarantee that you would have your leave to remain. But what we're going to do is we're going to take you out of that toxic situation and help you, point you in the right direction to either settle. Some people have actually opted to say, they want to go back home. I will help you to go back home. So please do not stay in that relationship because some man or woman have, brought you came to the UK as a couple, and they're now subjecting you to modern slavery, as a matter of fact. Our vulnerability team will be more than happy to support you and help you through that process. But you don't have to stay there. We have had examples. There was an individual that Saffron actually referred to us, and thank God, the man now has received his indefinite leave to remain. The woman was the one abusing the man in this case, and through the help of Saffron, pointing the man in the right direction, introducing the man to Home Office, the man has now, so he's out of that nonsense, and he's now happy, now properly settled. He doesn't have it. He can do whatever he wants with his life now. So please, I beg you, anyone, man, woman in that situation, let them speak up. There is help for them there. There is help for them through Saffron in the Home Office. Like I said, we have a specialist team called the vulnerability team, and that is one of the things that they deal with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yemisi. Thank you. And thank you for everything you and your team do. You guys are absolutely amazing. So you've heard it, guys. Please, if you do know anybody in that situation, it is not enough that somebody is trying to do a visa for you in this country or any country, but for this country, and then you sit down and take every bit of abuse because you are vulnerable. Please reach out to us if you know anybody in that situation. We're going to be dropping our details through the night before we go off air in the chat. You can reach out to us confidentially, and we will, like we did for the gentleman that Yemisi is talking about. He's a real life human being. He's now totally, free of any kind of abuse. And it was bad. And this was not a man abusing a woman, because like what Yemisi said, it's not just women who get abused. There is what we coined a phrase when we did this segment, and we said it's called manipulative, MDA, manipulative domestic abuse. And where that came from is from us discussing this segment when we did our research, and when we went out into the community, and what we found out was that the women have learned how to use the system that is predominant in the UK. You can make a call, you can scream and you can shout. You don't need a certificate in acting, and some of these Oscar-winning displays. And the police, unfortunately, the police, I won't say the police fall for it because that's not fair on the police. These are people who are very good at what they do, okay? But I'm telling you now, with the vulnerability team and with us, Saffron, we will work together to make sure that, these kind of things don't go far, because it's not right. Nobody should be abused because they want to have a right to stay in the United Kingdom. Okay, I know somebody else had their hand up, please. Whilst Yemisi was talking, your hand was up for quite a long time. I do apologize. Can you pop your hand back up again? Was it you, Nene? I'm sure it was one of the Ayodeles.
Good evening, Gils. It was actually me.
Oh, Bolale, hello. How are you?
Hi. It's good to see you.
You too.
It was me, and I had to put my hands down because I was going to talk about intervention.
Right.
What do you do with things like this? And when you asked the question, and Yemisi did justice to that.
Okay.
However, let me just quickly let me ask if this is a kind of emotional abuse. Since we're talking about not communicating when spouses don't communicate.
Yes.
Okay, I had to deal with the situation in one of the platforms where I belong as well.
Okay.
And we had this scenario where the spouse, being the male, would rather speak to his in-law about family issues instead of his wife. So the wife, what the wife did actually was to spell it out with the husband and to reject all forms of advice coming into the family that has not been taken through her. Now, would you say that woman controlling the family, or would you say, what would you say about that kind of attitude? Anybody can.
I don't even know where to start. Yemisi, okay, Yemisi has raised her hand. Yeah, Yemisi, that's fine. Yemisi is going to answer you. Over to you, Yemisi.
That is interesting. Now, what you've said is very, very limited. So one cannot really answer it to your satisfaction. I can't, but from what you have said now, in a relationship, obviously, I want to assume you're talking about, people who are married and are in a relationship. Could it be that this man has tried hard to engage with this woman, to talk to her, but it has never worked? And he feels that the people that can talk to her are parents or maybe her siblings. Because we all know that when there are issues in the relationship, there's always somebody that you would respect, and most likely your parents or your siblings that your partner will then go speak to then come and speak to you. That is one. So is it a case that this man has tried everything and it hasn't worked, and for him the best thing is to bring these people in? Now I will ask the woman a question. What the advice you're being given, are they true? Because most times we hate to hear the truth.
Yes.
If they are true, why don't you pick whatever you think is applicable to you, have a conversation with your husband or your partner, find out why they find it comfortable to go speak to your in-laws or to your siblings or to your family instead of you. Because that means communication has broken down. And if you're going to continue in that relationship, that needs to be looked at, that needs to be repaired. So I would say to the woman, please sit down and be objective, take out emotions from this, look at it objectively. and really see if there is anything worth you taking on. But all at the same time, have a conversation with your partner or your husband and ask him, why do you feel more comfortable going to talk to me? This is our problem. Let us deal with it. And okay, fine. If we cannot deal with it, if she's not happy with it going to her siblings, then maybe go for counseling.
Yeah, thank you.
From what you've said, it is not complete, so I can only just assume, and it's always back to assume.
No. I think you just nailed it. You just have to be objective. I think that's the most realistic thing to say. Let me see. Thank you.
Okay, I think Nene has something to contribute to that as well. Okay, I've asked you to unmute, Nene.
Hello, good evening.
Oh,
hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you?
Yes.
It's just a personal question. It has nothing to do with abuse or anything.
Wait,
I
Nene.
was going to say, I discussed it with you about students born in the UK coming over to go to school.
Can I interrupt you there, Nene? That I'm going to ask you to, I've seen the question. Can you hold for me until the 19th? But at the end of the show, I'm going to address that for you.
Okay.
Love. Thank you. I did see the question. Go
ahead. Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to say a very kudos to the speaker, Yemisi, because I've been looking for a platform like this that can even really talk about both the genders, okay?
Right.
And what she did today, I'm very, very happy, because there's some platform they see you that maybe you're not in support of your female gender. But what she said today, I am very, very happy, and I feel I feel delighted to be part of this community, because domestic abuse, when we talk about it, is you cannot target to only a particular gender. It's on both sides.
Yeah,
that's what I keep telling people. It's just the moral basic things in life and kindness. Once you know that you respect this thing should be mutual. You understand what I mean? So I'm really happy to hear this tonight. That is on both sides, being female or male. It doesn't matter. It can happen to anyone. So thank you for that. Okay.
Thank you.
If there's maybe you have any platform, please, I think we need to bring our children, our teenagers, both female and male, to teach them about mutual respect to one another. You understand? There are some female that they are just like, they can be bossy. And most of the platform I see nowadays, it's not making me happy, because it's like they are teaching us, our female, to be bossy, you understand, which it shouldn't be. So if I can see a platform that would nurture both female and male as kindness to one another, I will respect that. Thank you for that. So now to my contribution this evening. When we talk about financial abuse, in my own opinion, it can lead to neglect, mainly in Europe, yeah? But in Nigeria, most women, they do cope, except if that person used to be a working class that are now turned into full-time housewife, they will not be able to cope. You understand what I mean? But for example, something happened in Europe where I live, you understand? So the husband joined his wife back in Europe. But when they were in Nigeria, the husband, is the only one funding everything. Nigerian men now, especially those ones that are responsible. Even though the wife was working, the man, is a responsible man, want to take care of everything in the house. Understand? So when he now came to join his wife, and he wanted to continue to do the same thing, the wife now said, no, you can't do it. You can't fund it. It's not easy in Europe. You understand what I mean? So that is the kindness from the wife, you understand? And because some women, they will move to Europe, they will think that, okay, now you have to talk this thing out. You have to let your man understand, or your woman understand this. It doesn't work out this way. And any woman or husband, if you are given a chance to go and work, you understand? If you work, if you keep yourself busy, bring your own finances, it shouldn't be a burden of one another. So that's what I think. And I think awareness and education for both gender is very, very important in life, both back in Nigeria, back in Africa, wherever you may be. Teach them how to earn their own money. I think that will set a lot of things in the household. So that's my contribution for tonight. Okay, thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that contribution. And yeah, so I love all the points that were made. I hope your question, Bolanle, was answered. I think because we didn't get the full story, like Yemisi said, but I'm hoping she has done justice to that question. So Omotola, you're saying financial abuse leads to neglect. Yes, it does. It can, obviously, if you're withholding, you're earning an income in the home, and that income is staying for just you, the head of the home, then obviously it means your family are going to go without. And then, yes, that is neglect, which is not something that we want to promote. It's not something that we're happy to hear about. And I think in everything, communication, I think Yemisi made that point and somebody else, we need to be able to talk, to be open. There should be transparency in relationships, in marriages, in the homes, because if I can't afford something this month, it's not a big deal. Just be open, tell your spouse, and the two of you should be able to come together and sit down and talk about it. Bolanle, for me, what came into my mind when you gave your little scenario was, one, for the man to be going outside, like Yemisi said, something has broken down. The lines of communication, one, have broken down. And then secondly, do you really want to be bringing people from outside your home into your home to be discussing what should be discussed between man and wife? So you see, everybody runs their homes different, yeah? But I think what we're focusing on today is how we can circumvent, abuse. So that the not talking to, I envisage that couple will probably come to blows very soon if he keeps going outside, because it sounded like she has given him an ultimatum, that, from today, no more. And if he continues, so these are the things, and this is these are the triggers. So what's going to happen is the ultimatum has been given, and she's probably bouncing somewhere thinking, right, I'm waiting. And he's going to go because he needs help. He's going to go to these in-laws because he needs to communicate, and he's not communicating at home. And then what's going to be the resultant effects? They will come to blows, and abuse has started. So yeah, I hope they find peace. I hope you're able to help them in any way. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, thank you, James. I got few points from what you said, as well as I did from Yemisi.
Sure.
So I'll just add it to my to my list and advice. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. And I pray that there's a maybe come back on the show and let us know, because we always like to know the outcomes. It's not just about talking about the problems, the issues. We want to see and hear the outcomes, because then that means that, this is working. Mrs. Omotola Oyodele said, about this platform, and, it should be about both sides, and she's never seen this kind of a platform. And that's not what I want to hear. I want to hear that there are other platforms who are kind of doing the same thing, so that we can then come together. You want it to be a positive platform where people can be free to come on and air their views. Okay, so going forward, are we still going to do some more playbacks, Yem?
I just dug out our outcomes, because we are solution focused, and there's no point all of us talking here without actually seeing some of the outcomes.
Yes.
I have gone over to our immigration hub with the outcome with the young man who we were able to support, signposting to the Home Office.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to just share that with us, so that
do you want to give a little background story before you share, for those who...
I believe Yemisi did, about he had domestic abuse issues with his partner. I don't know if anyone remembers, because it's kind of went what's that word? Viral.
Viral, yeah.
Viral over the internet. It was all over Facebook, and Giz literally reached out to somebody who knew him, and the rest is what we call history, but positive outcomes as well. So let's hear from him, and I'm trying to pinpoint the direct, time on the video, but if I haven't, you're just going to bear with me and hold on there. Okay. I'm trying to move us away. Okay, let's just do this. I'll just stop share for a second and I'll put that up. Okay. Bear with me. Once we start sharing, I can't see the screen.
That's fine.
Yeah, once we start sharing, I can't see where to I'm gonna start again.
Okay.
And hopefully
you will have to send to
I will have to
send so you can send it.
Okay.
Yes.
We can't share anything from
right.
I understand. I think maybe something to do it next time, if that's acceptable. What do you think?
Yes, you know what? I think, Giz, I think the next session next month,
yes,
because it ties nicely
brilliant
with the awareness for students. So if we focus on that for the next session,
sure.
Yes,
Sure.
okay. Any questions? Anybody has any questions?
Yes, Yemisi, I have somebody I would like to introduce.
Right.
Yes. Oh, wow. Please tell me he hasn't disappeared. You mentioned him there we go. I'm just going to ask you to unmute yourself, sir. We have somebody who would like to thank the immigration team. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Okay, go ahead. Oh, he hasn't unmuted. Okay. Can you hear, can you speak so I can know if we can hear you, please?
Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name is
sir.
Olatunde Opadeji. I just want to use this opportunity to say thanks to everyone, starting from Ngozi Ojiako. I really appreciate you. May God Almighty bless you for your concern during my problem. And also my special thanks to Yemisi Dekinsi and all the entire staff of Saffron and all the entire staff of Immigration in Home Office. I thank all of you. May God Almighty will give all of you peace of mind throughout your life. Because I have a peace of mind now. And all my health is very improved. I don't think I have any panic attack anymore. I don't have any, my blood pressure is good. So I thank all of you. God Almighty will give you peace of mind in Jesus' name. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, the one in the Ivy.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you. It is so, you know what?
I'm just
emotional. that singular message. That singular message is so touching. You can see the expression of my colleagues. We are grateful. We are happy that we were able to help you and support you. So thank you, sir. Thank you for showing your appreciation. We thank you and wish you all the best going forward. Fantastic.
Amen.
Wow, Saffron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That.
We never ever get any comments like that publicly, I should say, try and get the words out. We get a lot of negative comments by every diverse walk of life, and to actually get somebody who is actually prepared to say that in a public environment like this, it's quite, I don't know, it's touching, and it's quite, I don't know, we never get that, so thank you very much.
Exactly. I just ditto that. Thank you. Lost for words.
Yes. Colleagues, you would have to pardon me. I'll have to say this in Yoruba language because I really need to appreciate this man in my local language. So, I will interpret to you guys later. Hello?
Hello.
Is he still here? Or is
Yes, he's still here. He's still here. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Let me speak. Let me say it in Yoruba that drives the message home very well. Because Cherry, tí irú àwọn èèyàn bíi tí bá ń jáde, àwọn èèyàn míì tó wà nínú situation ní wọ́n lè jáde láti mọ̀ wípé there's help out there for them. So thank you very much. So colleagues, what I've just said to him is that thank you very much. And that when people like him actually come out and speak out, see people that are in similar situation like him would seek for help. So thank you. You know what? He's just made my day. You just honestly, you've made my day. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Right, there you are.
So you see, guys, it's not just coming onto a Zoom, sitting looking pretty. There is real work that is done. There are real people that need to be helped, and there are real people that get help. And as Yemi rightly said, we are solution focused. So, when you come into the Saffron family, refer to us. We do have a lot of people on our team who can facilitate whatever you're bringing to the table. We have a slogan, #Together We Can, because we believe together we can. And you see, the proof is in the pudding. They say the proof is in the eating of the pudding. Isn't that how they say it? And that is a real life human being who, it was a very sad initial story, but it's turned out to be, an amazing outcome. And for me, what really struck me was his health. He'd gone from being a very serious candidate for high blood pressure to his doctor asking him, "How have you done this?" That was what the doctor said to him. The doctor said, "I've dealt with high blood pressure patients." He said, he's not on the pills anymore, guys. He does not take his medication anymore. The doctor has said he doesn't need it. So you see, if you do know anybody in that position with immigration who is, undergoing abuse as a result of somebody else being responsible for doing their papers in this country, please signpost them to Saffron ASAP. We will pick it up and we will do it justice. Okay, so yes, that was just to show you, because we know sometimes people think, they're just talking, nothing comes out of it. So that wasn't just to show you what, it's not about us, it's about that gentleman. And there are many more like him. And it's also to buttress what Yemisi said, men are getting abused, possibly, the same way as women, but they're not talking about it. If I hadn't approached that gentleman, I'm very sure he would not have said anything. He would not have spoken out. So please, if you do know any males that are going through this, send them our way. Women going through this, send them our way. Abuse is not gender specific. It's not ethnic specific. Okay. So without much, we've really gone very deep into this. We still want to hear from those of you who have been on since we came on air. We still want to hear your views, guys. I don't know if we've got any from Facebook. Have we got any input from our Facebook viewers? Because we don't want to leave them out.
Not at the moment. We've had quite a few people watching us on Facebook and presenting themselves, their presence, but we haven't had any questions or comments per se with regards to the program. Once we do, I will notify you as usual.
Just know, guys, we're very interactive, and when we come here, we do like to hear from you, because it is based on what you say to us, then we get to work. It is based on what you tell us that is happening in the community, then we get to work. And just before I continue, I just want to shout out to our fellow director, Marcia Eliza has just jumped into the house. She's connecting to her audio. Hi, Marcia, good evening. Okay.
While Marcia is joining us, can I just also just highlight that the next immigration hub will be on the 19th of June. And basically, we are going to be focusing on international students, the EU settlement, which comes to an end on the 30th of June. So if you have issues around or trying to put in applications for EU settlement, or you know people who are, please, please, please reach out to them and let them reach out to the program so that they can be supported or signposted.
Yep.
Also, the Windrush as well, Windrush settlement as well. Or what we identified, or what I know I didn't know from the beginning, is when you say Windrush, we're just thinking about the islands, the Caribbean and West Indies, but actually it also concerns Commonwealth countries and like Nigeria and other African countries. So if you, I don't know the dates, I know Yemisi is here, and I don't know if we're going to put her on the spot, but it's between up to a certain year and you were born within that time, your family's lived here, please investigate, come and ask questions if you're not sure, and see if you can apply and get settlements. There's funds out there that government is putting out to settle and compensate families. Please look into it. And I think that's what we're going to be dealing with. Am I right, Giz?
That's right. That's on the 19th.
Okay.
On the 19th of June at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., we will be looking at the what you've mentioned. So Nene, I'm going to ask that on that 19th, if you join in, because that question that you asked will be dealt with directly on the 19th of June, because it is a question that is directly related to immigration and studies. And there's quite a lot of information that's going to be released that day, specifically around immigration due to the new immigration laws that will be coming up, and especially around students. So if you know any students that are planning to come into the United Kingdom, please, 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 we're going to put the link. Can we put the link in the chat, please?
Yes,
we're going to put the link in the chat, and so you guys can actually, if you do want to have a one-to-one with any of the engagement officers, then you fill in the link, put your name. You don't necessarily have to put your address, but you can put your name or put a name, so that when we have the one-to-one on that Saturday, what we will do is we will put you into breakout rooms for a one-to-one session with the team. So please, please, please tell one, tell all. It's going to be an amazing session. And the EU settlement scheme, as Yemi said, is finishing on the 30th of June. So please, if you know anybody, please, 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 it's free to do it. If they don't know how to do it, let them come in on that Saturday, the 19th of June, and you will have the team there that will be able to put you in the right direction. Okay, that's it regarding the 19th. Then the 23rd of June, it's a date, guys. Put it in your diary. Put it in your diary. We clock 1 year. So SaffronSACAP voiceover talk show will be exactly 1 year, guys. Can you believe it? I have been talking for 1 year. Yemi has been talking for 1 year. Marcia has been talking for 1 year, guys. Every Wednesday. Can you believe that? So no, we are really, really happy. We are humbled, because without you guys, there is no us. We can't come on here and talk to each other, So thank you so much to each and every one that has been a part of this amazing journey. We've covered so many things. And guys, please, what we would love for you to do for us, from July, we are only going to be covering what you ask us to cover. So we want to hear from you. please, no area is too out of bounds for us. We're very daring women, you know, and we're not scared. So no area is out of bounds. If there is any areas you feel we have not touched or we have not done justice to, please, what do they say? Constructive criticism, it inspires growth. So, you know, we might not have been doing some things properly. Please tell us, fill in our inquiry forms. We're not afraid to be told that segment was a load of nonsense, because once you tell us, then what we will do is we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll sit down. Yeah. So please let us know what it is you want to hear from us. Let us know what you need to hear from us. Let us know how we can help you, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to bridge that gap. And unless you tell us what we need to be bridging, then there is nothing to bridge. Okay. Welcome, Marcia. Marcia, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself? You know you don't sneak into my house unannounced. Hi, Mas. It's been a long day. Okay, I think we're still having some audio issues. Okay, Marcia is our resident coach, life coach and mentor, and also our director for youth engagement. I think we're having some issues with Marcia's audio. So once that gets fixed, I'm sure she will pop up. So yes, guys, you know, once again, thank you for everything you've done, everything you are doing. And, you know, we hope to continue this relationship way into the future. Well, there's a lot to do in our community. You know, we need to get rid of a lot of issues. We need to come together. You know, we need to come together. We need to come together to fix some things. We need to come together just to be together. You know, it might not just be fixing things. It just come together as a family, because that's what we are. Yeah. And I think I would like to also announce, we have so many opportunities have come for Saffron. We're blessed, but we like to share them with you. And these opportunities that we seek them because of you guys. So if you have any 16 to 25-year-old who is looking to stay in education, do some studies, we now have the traineeship, which we are offering. I don't know if you can share that. I don't know if you can. If you can't,
I will try.
We will share it next week. We will share it next week because we didn't prepare to share it. So we will share it next week, but I will mention it, and it will be shared next week with a list of courses. If you are interested to do to study, we have the traineeship that we are offering in collaboration with another organization. But what it is that we will train you. You can be trained virtually or physically. The choice will be yours. And it would be a very interactive, engagement. So it's not just you sitting down on your own and being left alone, no, because that's not really the kind of learning style that we are going to offer. So we've got that. And if you are interested, you can. Have you got it? You see, I love you, Yemi. You're too much. So yes, Saffron Clad. This is our hub, Saffron Consultancy Learning Advocacy Research Development Hub. That's ours. Saffron Safeguarding, which is done through our African and Caribbean Center, which is based in Gillingham. But we do offer, like I said, the virtual as well as the physical. Okay, so if you do know anybody right now, the places that are available are for business admin, customer service, health and social care, employability skills, childcare, teacher training, teacher assistant. Yeah, these are the ones that are available, full support provided, totally COVID compliant, virtual and physical sessions, employment possibilities attached to various courses. Okay, and down below are the that's our website, and you've also got the email info@saffronsacap.org and the 3 telephone numbers you can call should you wish to speak to somebody. So please, guys, if you know anybody that is you think would benefit from any one of these courses, full training is available now, and we are ready and we are waiting to hear from you. Okay, so much is going on for Saffron, and as time goes on, we are going to share as much as possible with you. We are here, we're not going anywhere. So please feel free, we're all on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. So feel free to link up with us on social media. Are we on Twitter? Yeah, we're on Twitter. We're everywhere. Please, on YouTube, subscribe. Just click the button, because when you miss a section that we do live, what we do is we throw it into YouTube, and then you can sit down in the comfortability of your home and you can watch us, okay? And we're hoping that you're not just watching, but you're watching and sharing this with somebody who needs it. I get very sad when I go out into the community and I hear things and I think, well, why didn't you reach out to us? Please share, guys. Like I've always said, it might not affect you, but it could affect your neighbor. All right, let's be our brother and our sister's keepers. So back to today, we've been talking about domestic abuse. And I really would like to hear, yeah, that's fine, Mas. You can only, yeah, I got that. I understood that. That's all right. That's okay. So we're back to today, and we were talking about domestic abuse. And we want to hear, we've, you know what, guys, we've done the determinant factors. We kind of know some of why these things happen. But I think what we should be focusing now is how we can stop this thing from happening, And many a times we, like I said, we go into a home and you see something, and I'm not telling you to go and be shouting people's business out in the market, but you should never, ever be witness to abuse and you turn a blind eye. Yeah, safeguarding we're not just safeguarding children, it's safeguarding adults as well. So if you do see abuse, you need to talk it out. You need to tell somebody, and not gossip. Tell somebody who will be able to help the person, because some domestic abuse cases have led to the death. They lead to death. And sometimes when I turn on the news, I think if one person had intervened at the right time, could that have saved a life? Yes, it could have. So let's try and be, our neighbors' eyes and ears. That's what love is all about, and let's try. If we know somebody who is, suffering, or if there's a house and you see people go in, but you never see those people come out of that house in a week, in a month, guys, please, you need to be savvy now. You have to be savvy, because that abuse could be happening next door to your home. There's nothing wrong with you knocking on your neighbor's door. Hi, my name's Giz, I'm your neighbor, how are you? Let's learn to do that. If they bang the door in your face, it doesn't matter. You've seen the face of your neighbor. You understand? And if you don't see that person come out for a 6-week period, alarm bells, red flags should be, ringing. Okay, guys? So I'm not asking us to be MI5 or CIA, but it just takes a little bit of common sense to stop the littlest of abuse from happening. Yeah? Okay. We've got a couple of about 15 minutes to go. So I think we've recapped. We've told you about the 19th, which is our immigration hub. We've told you about the 23rd, which is going to be our birthday. We've told you about the trainee course we're doing, the traineeship. And I think I've covered most of what is upcoming. Parent classes we're still waiting for government guidelines. So I'm going to keep that on the back burner for now. While I hold, we'll keep that on the back burner. Yes, Yemi, go ahead.
I just also wanted to ask everyone who's on this platform, because I don't think there are any strangers here.
No.
And also my Facebook family I'm hosting, please drop your requests for topics you want us to address. And they're not only around safeguarding, but topics that are pertinent to our communities. Somebody actually sent me a message and said, do you talk about FGM? Yes, we do. Do you talk about early marriage? Yes, we do. Do we talk about forced marriage? Yes, we do. These are safeguarding topics that people don't actually associate with safeguarding. And safeguarding is wide, it's the umbrella that covers everything that we do. So there is no subject that is alien to this platform. If you have suggestions, please drop them with me on Facebook now, and we will pick those subjects up and within the chats as well. And if you do, also just unmute and let's just talk about these subjects. I'm sorry, I'm just going to hijack your time this evening, but I do know that there are a lot of people with questions around issues that they think that we need to address. So if you do, please feel free to unmute yourself and just drop your question, and Leslie will take it up. Okay. Was that Giz? Ooh. Okay. We haven't got that. Hi, Marcia, I see you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had a bit of a wobble. I'm back.
What happened there?
It's called dogs. My dog's just running and I want to get them out. Okay, so I'm back. I'm so sorry about everybody. Yes. Yeah, I heard everything you said, and I just want to apologize because I left out a very salient information. The employability, the kickstart.
Yes, okay.
I'm so sorry. I forgot. I forgot. I did. I'm going to tell the truth. I forgot. Okay. So I just want to say that, like I did say, we've been blessed. And I think, and I know I'm a Christian, and it's not luck. It's a blessing. And I really believe that the Lord is trying to use Saffron to do something. And, if you've been on the show, you know that I'm very, very, very in tune with our young people. So we've been given the go-ahead by the government to run the Kickstart employability scheme, and this is for the young people. It should be starting, I would say, July. Second week of July, we're gonna kick it off, and that means we're going to be having a maximum of 4, minimum of 2 people that come to us to train. And they will be training from now until December. And obviously after that, they get full-time employment, okay? It might be with us and it might be with another organization. And I'm putting this out there so that if there is anybody who requires a young person who has been fully trained up for employment, please reach out to Saffron. Because I think that's what we need to be doing for our young people. We need to get them up there. We need to. Not everybody wants to go to the university, and we need to stop pushing that. University is nothing wrong with university. It's amazing. But some young people, it's not the route that they desire. Okay, some of them love the vocational, some of them love so we've got to understand that, and I think this employability, this Kickstart scheme is amazing because it's helping to sharpen them, to make them employable. I am very tired of having youth run around saying, I've gone for this job interview and they said to me, I have no experience. How can they have experience when nobody wants to employ them? Take them on, teach them, train them, and then move them on if you haven't got space for them. But for you to say that, they've got no experience, they're never going to get experience because nobody's doing anything for them. So we are starting the Kickstart scheme, which is different from the trainee scheme. So these are 2 different schemes. The Kickstart is from the government. The trainee scheme is also, but it's totally separate. So the Kickstart scheme is starting in July. And if you do have anybody, the government will send us for the Kickstart. So that's just to be clear. But once we train them up, what we will be doing is we will be having people who are ready to be employed because they would have been trained up. So that essence of they're not experienced or they don't know anything, that is what that's the gap we're trying to, those holes, those are the holes Saffron is trying to fill for our young people. So please work with us. Follow us on our websites, on our social media pages. We're going to be putting a lot of content about this. You know, we are on a mission for these young people. They need us, you know, and we've got to come together as a community and make things right for them. I think as a world, we failed them. You know, we've totally failed them. So, but it's okay. It's fixable. We can fix this. So thank you, everybody. And yeah, we will be sending out more information on our website as the days go on. Okay, I think I did that justice. Yes, Yam, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I believe we have really done a round robin this evening. We've gone from reviewing our domestic abuse month, which we had in the very early months when we started the voiceover talk show. And the outcomes, do you know what? The outcome came months later, nearly 7 months later. We've been through so many things, but the icing is that the outcomes will come. We just need to put ourselves out there, work with the people, and we're looking forward to more outcomes. When you're in on the program on the 19th, we also have a couple more people who with positive outcomes from this immigration hub. It's amazing. So join in on the 19th and come and celebrate with some people. I know that within our communities, if you celebrate with people who are celebrating, you will be celebrated. So if you do want to be celebrated, join others who are celebrating. Join us on the 19th and let's lift some people up. With that, guys, and I think we are on time for the first time ever.
Oh, I love that. I love when we're on time. I absolutely love it. But I think I'm going to let everybody go slightly earlier today because it's very hot. And if you're anything like me, I need to have a drink because I'm dying here. It's so hot. I don't even have fan in my room. So
Mind you, before we go, please unmute yourselves, everyone. You know, this where people are muted on, I don't like it. I like people to unmute yourselves as long as there's no noise background. And please join in the conversation. We've reeled out a lot of information. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. And let's have 5 minutes of complete interaction and market banter. Okay, who's going to go first? You, mommy.
I want to say there's a serious addiction now in Nigeria, apart from drugs. This, they call it bets, Naira bets. So many youths and men are involved in it. You find out that so much funds are going into that, and men are not able to play their roles, especially the youths. So many of them, I don't know if you're aware of it. This bet Niger and Naira bets.
Yeah.
Baba Ijebu.
Yeah. The thing with
it's really a very big issue right now.
In Nigeria,
it's like drugs. Yes.
Yeah, it's also an issue in the UK as well. We tend to find out that where there's a lot of poverty, there is a lot of gambling.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how even on the streets you have more gambling shops than there are more service offering places.
Sure.
And people tend to capitalize on people's downturn. So when there's a downturn, the ladies apparently in the lockdown and some when we had the economic downturn, lipstick sold the most. Amazingly, we turned to lipsticks, and makeup is looking for something to lift you up. But it has turned out that a lot of times when there are downturns, where there are disturbances within society, people tend to look at gambling as an issue. And these Masha is typing in that some of these shops are used for selling drugs. Absolutely. there are meeting points for various things. Nene is so right that there is a I don't know, rife of betting going on in Nigeria, and these bring on things around substance misuse, drugs, alcohol, which then spirals into domestic abuse and so many other things. My main concern is very much is for the children who are caught up within these families. You know, the children and domestic abuse do not mix at all. And I think one of our programs we treated the toxic trio, which was when you have domestic abuse, you have um, drugs, substance misuse, and mental health issues in the family. It is a serious issue, but there are families who have these three, battling themselves within the family. Um, Children are going through a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, that we've been quite busy on the other side of the waters. When I say that, I mean in Nigeria, and there's so much, there's so many cases of sexual abuse as well, and all of these substance misuse, drugs, they all contribute to that as well. So we have a lot of work on our hands. We did a call to action with our SDGF handle, Saffron SDGF, that's Saffron Social Development Global Foundation, and that has been quite promising. There's been quite a lot of engagement, not surprising, but yeah, it's been pleasing to know that people see the problem at hand and want to engage, and hopefully we can, reduce some harm that's happening not just in Nigeria, but around with Black children, Black African children around the world. We have a mandate and we are fighting. We are reaching out on all platforms and on all levels to support Black African families. Thank you for joining us, Paul. Sorry, I did see you and I meant to welcome you. Have you got a minute to unmute and say hello before we close? Paul is our strategic project manager in Nigeria. Say hello, Paul, for us.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
Sorry, I
evening.
joined late. Returned back from work quite late. Lagos traffic, as
I
usual.
can imagine. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Okay. Days.
Okay.
Over to you. Thank you, Nene. Thank you so much. That's
Thank
is that
you.
a question? Is that a topic you want us to pick up sometime starting from July?
Yeah, because there's a case right now. A young man, well, I think the brother is in the US. He sent money. Brother usually helps for the children's school fees, and he gambled the whole money.
Oh.
So the kids now haven't been able to pay their school fees.
Wow. Yes.
Wow. So I didn't even know how serious this thing was. The wife said you get up in the morning, dress up, and disappear. So if you go and search for him, you'll find him in that place. So a lot of people are doing this thing. This Niger bets, looking for a quick fix.
Yeah.
And it's so addictive, even
it is.
Money to feed is a problem. Every resources he has is into that thing. I didn't know it's like a drug.
It is.
Okay. Thank you, Nene. We're going to reach out to organizations that we partner with in Nigeria and look at interventions that are available.
Yeah.
Because there must be services available to support people like this man that you're talking about. Because if we don't address it, then it becomes a social problem, social issues, which is what they are now. In social policy,
there are so many youths every day. They are crowded in those places.
Yeah, because they're all thinking the country has a big downturn, and everyone's trying to make some quick money. And that's why you're seeing some ritual killings and things going on there. It is influencing a lot of negativity in the country. So we will pick that up and look to addressing that. It might take a couple of months for us to do a lot of research, engage with organizations out here and in Nigeria who can support young people who find themselves within that I don't know, remit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Nene. And like, yes, Yemi said, we've penned that down and we'll look at it. I want to just do a quick shout out for the United Kingdom to all the parents, and I'm hoping I'm hoping our Facebook family are still on. Please, 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 I am begging everybody, the young children are in danger. Something happened this afternoon, and I will just give you quickly because this is a scenario that has played out and it shocked me. It looked like these people were homeless. They're dressed like homeless people, carrying suitcases, and they tried to lure children into public toilets. And the conversation that was had today was they were trying to give them money and promised them to take them to a hotel where they can make lots of money. We're on that at the moment, but the point of the matter is I was able to speak to the young children. These look like year 7 children, so they're quite very, very young, very vulnerable. They weren't scared, but I had to let them understand that they should never be alone. Your children should try and not walk to school alone. There must be a buddy. Teach them the importance of keeping their phones with battery. If you can teach your children to have emergency people they can call. I know they call it ICE in case of emergency. Maybe give it some other name, whatever, but educate your children on personal safety. This thing they wear in their ears, guys, the headphones, the ones that have the wire and the ones that are just like peas. I look at them like peas you put in your ears. Can they not wear the two together? They can't hear anything. I've tried it with mine. You can't. And if a car or a van pulls up on you or somebody comes at your back, they grab you, you're gone. So please educate them. They mustn't have the two on. And I think to honestly, Yemi, I think it's high time we approached the powers that be to make walking around with that might have to become, and it's like riding the scooter, because you're basically deaf when you're wearing that thing and walking on the street. So apart from being kidnapped, they can be knocked down, anything can happen. So the United Kingdom, this is a clarion call. Please, 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 guys, let the children be careful. At that stage, we're gonna close now. I hope to see you all on the 19th during our immigration hub, and hope to see you back on the, is it 23rd? On the 23rd, which is the Wednesday, for our 1-year party. Please spread the word, and we'd hope to see you all back then. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
Good night.
So much. Good night. Thank you to all our Facebook family.
Yes, thank you for the kings and queens from what's their Facebook group? Do you know what? As I said, I'd mentioned their group because they're an awesome group.
Okay.
Is it Omoti? Omoti,
Yeah.
I think she's the founder of that group, and they're just an awesome group to have as partners. So thank you so much for joining us and for your contribution to all to us all the time. Stay blessed. Have a lovely evening, everyone on Facebook. Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Good night. Thanks, Nene. Thanks, Alana.
Bye.
Bye.